Hello there, this is Patricia from Pinky's World. Today I am making a gift card holder, a money holder. I have a load of these to make for a few people. I have ordered them and I have loads of them to make, so I'm trying to do all these different designs, and this is one that I'm starting with. It is quite lovely. Would suit maybe an older person or couple or whatever. Inside it just slides out. Inside I have stamped it, and on the back I've made a wee pocket to slide in a gift card or money notes. It isn't really deep because I want it to be able to slide in and out, but it does hold the money, and it's simply tied together with a ribbon held together. There's no glue in that end, and it just slides in, and it's decorated at the top, and I think it just looks lovely. It's nice and Christmassy. I've used scraps of paper from one of last year's designs. This is from the Poinsettia Petals. I've used a few. There's a few stamp sets. Christmas Gleaming. I've used the Merry Christmas for the front. This is a really old set from Celebration last year, and I've used Sending a Little Something on the back of the where you're putting the money, and then I've simply used the smallest flower, well, the second smallest flower actually. Stamped them out 6. 2 for each flower and 5 leaves, and coloured them in whatever coloured you're going with. But the wee shape itself is pretty cool. If I can find my template, just remembered. Make yourself a wee template. If you're going to put nice DSP on there, you want to make something that's going to fit. So the best way to do it is to simply, when this is open, I'll show you when we get that far, trace around the main, this part here, that shape, and then you want to cut it in just like a quarter of a wee bit, just a wee bit in, and just follow your seam line. You could do it on your school board, mark it out with a score, or just follow a line on your cutting board and do that, and then just hold on to that template, and you just simply scoot around with it, which I have done here, to make the body right away. So the back is left pretty plain, but it's entirely up to you. You could decorate the back of it. It just depends on what look you're going for. Another thing is when you stamp out your flowers, I've left one uncoloured here. Because you can see them at the back, I think it's a good idea to colour in the back of your flowers, you know, rather than leaving them white. You can leave that wee centre, but that's going to be the part that's glued. But when you turn your card over and you see just white, I don't think it's as nice. So just scoot over with your whatever colour and implement you're using before you stick all those together. So let's get started. You're going to need a piece of card that measures 3.5 inches by 9, and you want to score it. There's just 2 wee scores, and it's scored at 3.5 and 7 inches. And that's your scoring done. Another wee idea is to give it a nice, if you have a punch border, punch that wee part of your flower pot just to make it a wee bit more decorative. I'm just going to use my cutter, which gives me that. Might actually use that wee bit to brighten that up. Never know. I'll think about it. But that's a good wee, quick, easy way if you have a cutter that has fancy blades on it. So the next thing you want to do is fold these over. This one's going to like so. Just make sure everything's lined up nicely. And this wee one is going to fold. And that is basically your flower pot other than that wee shape. So now you want to put it in to your cutter if you have one like this. If not, use your ruler. You want to cut it from this point down to, well, you can turn it upside down and do it this way. I'm using the 1/2 inch guide there, and I'm lining this up with the cotton like so. So you're at 1/2 inch up here, and you're at the cutting line here, and we're just going to trim it down like so, and that'll give us that nice wee shape. And you're just going to do the same at the other side. Flip it over. I'm going to put this point at the cutter and this point at the 1/2 inch. Just make sure you're happy with it. You want them to look equal at both sides. Oh, and don't close your jumper in the cutter. So that gives you that nice wee shape, and then trace around that, set it down on your scrap paper, trace around it, and then just cut fractionally the whole way around using a point on your cutter. That'll keep it nice and balanced for you. And then you can get your paper and set it in like so. So we're just going to stick that on now with some blue. This is old retired paper from last year too. So I like to be able to get plenty of use out of all my papers. And I do have quite a bit to get through. Not all Stampin' Up, but even older. So I thought this spotty one was really nice for a Christmassy flower pot. I could have done with trimming mine another wee bit. But you could just cover the whole lot if you didn't want an edge. Of course, I've stuck that in the back, haven't I? Twit. I'm going to whip this off really quick. Wasn't paying attention at all. Ugh. Right, I'm going to pause you to get rid of this glue. So I'm back. Had to recut the whole thing because it just was too sticky. So I've re-glued this and I'm opening that up. You know, that way it's coming towards you, so this is where your paper goes, not on the flipping back. What am I like, huh? So just line that up nicely. And that goes down, that goes back, and that's more or less your wee pot. We're just going to tie it together in a knot with some nice ribbon. Just matching up the colours as best I can. It's not the exact colour. I do think I have some of the other one left, so, but it'll hardly matter. So long as it's red or matching whatever colour you're actually using. So just tie it in a double knot rather than a bow, because I think the bow just is too bulky with this particular card when you're putting flowers above it, you know. So trim it off. Get that out of your way, and that's more or less ready. You could on this one actually decorated with scores lines, so you could do that if you wanted on your embossing board or emboss it with a fancy wee thing. You can always take that off and do that again. But we're going to move on to, let's actually we'll stick this on while we're here. I'm going to use the other glue. I have stamped a sentiment out for the front and I've lined it with a wee piece of Whisper White just so that it shows up better against the red. And just use some of your dots to line that up. Scooch over. So that sets that off, which I hope is straight. So inside, you're going to need a piece of the red card, or whatever way you're going to match it. I did the green card in the other one, but it's not going to work against the white, so I want the red sitting and then white on top, just so it has that wee trim. It needs to be 2.5 by 4.5. Then you need another piece for your decoration, and it needs to be 2.25 by 2.25. So we're going to stick that in place. I have went ahead and stamped it as well. And that just sticks on top like so. When you're doing your stamping, remember that you are sticking the flowers to the top part of this, so do your stamping down below. So they'll see it when it comes out, but not necessarily on it. Now on the back, as I showed you in this one, I have the wee pocket and a little something wrote on it, and I'm left the space up here. They'll have to use a white pen obviously, but I'll be doing this from my mother-in-law, this particular one, so it'll be easy enough for me to do it. Or silver, they could use silver, but most people buy those silver pens. So send in a little something. I've stamped it just onto a wee scrap that I had. Must be about not even 1/2 inch. Yeah, it's about 3. It's maybe just short of half an inch. So again, it depends on your sentiment that you want to use. So stick it on. I have went with a wee jaunty line there just because I had enough paper to do that. Again, that's not necessary. It's all just taste, so do whatever you feel like doing. Do it. So I'm just sticking that on now because it'll be a wee bit easier than later, and just trim it off both sides. And on the back I have put wee tiny squares to form the pocket now, but they're only like half a millimetre or something. They're really, really tiny. I don't want it to be bulky for sliding in and out of the pocket, obviously, so that's going to stick on here. They're going to write to and from and stick the money in there. So I'm going to proceed to pull all these off and stick it to the back. So that's all those removed, and that wee piece actually measures 2 3/8 wide, so it's just smaller than this and 2 inches tall at this side. So, you know, to make it longer if you're going for that jaunty look. If not, just do it 2 inches tall. And just pop it on there. And that's it, ready to slide into the back of your card. And just run your finger in there to give yourself room for this to slide in and out. Now you can see now this is where your flowers need to be stuck and your leaves. So I have mine all ready to go here. I advise you starting with the back one and putting it so that you can actually add the glue to this wee bit here, and the rest of it can hang over. I'm using the stronger glue just to make sure that it stays put. And just center it and pop it just right there. Then these ones are going to go to either side, and I'm actually putting them under this flower. I prefer the big one at the center to be at the top. So I'm not going down too far. I want to make sure that the leaves come down over the pot, but it's not sticking to the top. Same with this one. Push these up out of my way. And just try and keep them all more or less the same. Bring that out to the edge. And just always check that nothing's sticking. You don't want it sticking to the front of your flower pot. So they seem fine. So now we want to add some leaves, and I have these all stamped out, and they've all been glittered up as well with Wink of Stella just to make them nice and shiny. So I'm going to this slinky point here, just a wee bit of glue, and again lift up your leaves and slide it in, and then press it down when you're happy with where it is. Make sure everything's okay at the back. And make sure you're sitting straight. Again with the other side, I'm just giving them a wee slight bend. Wee bit of glue and just slip it in under here. Get behind both. Sort of make sure that they're, you know, positioned nicely. Yep. Oh, I forgot to colour the back of my leaves. Bold. I'll go back in after and do it. This one you want going under here, but again, not touching, making sure it's not sticking to your flower pot. So I'm going to arrange that one there. This one at this side. Try and get it under all those leaves, so it has enough to catch, you know, without sticking to anything else. And then this one's going to go in the very center there. Now you can add more leaves if you want. I'm going to have quite a few of these to make, so I definitely won't be adding too many leaves. So at this stage, pull that out and prop up all your leaves, or all your petals. Now that's going to go that way, so I want glue down that wee bit so that it holds okay. This one's straight up. If you have to trim it, go ahead. You could take that wee point off so that it goes up further for you, because you definitely don't want it sticking in the wrong place. And this one is going to be along here, just to get the best position. And just double check that you're happy with everything. And then make sure they raise up so that you can get your wee thing back in nice and straight. Get in. Let's do it on. I nearly could have done with another couple of leaves out there. I might add them. What do you think yourself? This one here seemed to sit better for me. Maybe it's the darker colour behind. But either way, that's it. That is simply it. I'll remember and colour my leaves in at the back. Just the top two you really need. But they do make nice wee gift holders. So hopefully I'll be back with another different design idea for you for next week. I'm going to concentrate on gift holders for a while. I might go back in and do that because I actually like the texture on that. So there's so many things you could do, and it all keeps you so much later. So remember that if you have a lot to do like myself, don't be going overboard. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all again next week. Bye.